Beneath the warm Mediterranean sun lies a story that spans millennia, a tale of triumph and tragedy, of wisdom and war, of gods and mortals. This is the story of ancient Greece, a civilization that would forever change the course of human history. Our journey begins over 4,000 years ago on the island of Crete, where the Minoan civilization flourished in ways that would seem remarkably modern even today. Picture vast palaces rising from the landscape, their walls adorned with spectacular frescoes depicting athletes leaping over bulls, their harbors bustling with ships from distant lands. The Palace of Knossos, with its intricate architecture and advanced plumbing systems, stands as testament to Minoan ingenuity. These weren't just royal residences, they were the hearts of a sophisticated society, where administrators kept meticulous records on clay tablets, artists created masterpieces, and merchants traded goods from as far as Egypt and Mesopotamia. But nature can be merciless. The eruption of Thera, a massive volcanic explosion, may have contributed to the Minoans' decline, paving the way for a new power, the Mycenaeans. The Mycenaeans were warriors and builders, creating massive fortresses that seemed impregnable. Their megaron halls, where kings held court, would later inspire the temples of classical Greece. Here, the stories of the Trojan War and the adventures of Odysseus were born, later immortalized in Homer's epic poems. Yet even this mighty civilization would fall, plunging Greece into what scholars call the Dark Ages. For nearly 3 centuries, writing disappeared, trade declined, and the magnificent palaces were abandoned. But from this darkness, something remarkable would emerge. As Greece awakened from its dark age, a new form of society began to take shape, the polis, or city-state. Each polis was a world unto itself, with its own laws, customs, and way of life. Athens, Sparta, Corinth, Thebes, each would develop its own unique character. Perhaps the most fascinating aspect of this period was the Greek colonization movement. Like bees from a hive, Greeks began establishing new settlements across the Mediterranean and Black Sea. Magna Graecia, Greater Greece, emerged in southern Italy and Sicily. These colonies became bridges between cultures, spreading Greek ideas and absorbing foreign influences. But it was the threat from the east that would truly transform Greece. The Persian Empire, the largest the world had ever seen, cast its eyes toward the Greek cities of Asia Minor. When these cities revolted against Persian rule in 499 BCE, Athens sent ships to help. This fateful decision would lead to one of history's most remarkable conflicts. The Persian Wars would become legendary. At Marathon in 490 BCE, heavily outnumbered Athenians charged across a plain to defeat Persian forces. A decade later, when Xerxes led an even larger invasion, the Greeks would face overwhelming odds again. At Thermopylae, King Leonidas and his 300 Spartans would make their famous last stand, buying crucial time for other Greek cities to prepare. At Salamis, the Athenian navy under Themistocles would lure the Persian fleet into a trap, dealing it a decisive defeat. The Persian Wars transformed Greece, particularly Athens. Flush with victory and the wealth of the Delian League, Athens under Pericles would enter its golden age. The Acropolis, crowned by the magnificent Parthenon, rose as a symbol of Athenian power and artistic achievement. But Athens' greatest legacy wasn't in stone, it was in ideas. In the agora, or marketplace, Socrates would engage citizens in philosophical debates, challenging them to question their assumptions about truth, justice, and virtue. His student Plato would establish the academy, while Aristotle would later create a systematic study of everything from logic to biology. The theater became a crucible for exploring the human condition. Playwrights like Aeschylus, Sophocles, and Euripides created tragedies that still resonate today, asking timeless questions about fate, free will, and moral responsibility. Meanwhile, comedic playwright Aristophanes used humor to criticize political leaders and social trends. Picture yourself sitting in the theater of Dionysus, along with 17,000 other spectators, watching Sophocles' Oedipus Rex for the first time. The power of these performances helped create a shared cultural identity among Greeks. But success bred rivalry. The Peloponnesian War between Athens and Sparta would rage for nearly 30 years, drawing in almost every Greek city-state. Thucydides, the great historian who chronicled this conflict, showed how power politics and human nature drove cities to destruction. When Athens finally fell to Sparta in 404 BCE, it seemed like the end of an era. But Greek culture continued to evolve. New philosophical schools emerged, the Epicureans seeking happiness through simple pleasures, the Stoics advocating virtue and self-control. From the north, a new power was rising. Philip II of Macedon transformed his kingdom into a military powerhouse, introducing innovations like the phalanx formation. But it was his son, Alexander, who would change the world forever. Alexander's campaigns took him from Greece to India, creating an empire of unprecedented size. More than just a conqueror, he was a cultural revolutionary, encouraging the mixing of Greek and Eastern traditions. The Hellenistic age that followed Alexander's death saw Greek culture spread across the known world. The Library of Alexandria became the greatest center of learning in antiquity. Scientists like Archimedes made breakthrough discoveries. Sculptors created masterpieces like the Venus de Milo. As Rome's power grew, Greece's political independence waned. But in conquest, Greek culture achieved its greatest victory. The Romans became passionate admirers of Greek civilization, preserving and spreading Greek ideas throughout their empire. Today, ancient Greece's influence surrounds us. Our democratic institutions, our philosophy, our theater, our architectural styles all bear the imprint of Greek genius. Even our scientific and medical terms come from Greek roots. The Greeks taught us to question, to reason, to seek beauty in art and truth in philosophy. They showed us that individuals could shape their destiny, that ideas could change the world, that excellence, what they called arete, was worth striving for. When we look at Greece today, we're not just seeing the ruins of an ancient civilization. We're seeing the birthplace of ideas that continue to shape our world. In the words of Percy Bysshe Shelley, we are all Greeks, from the Minoans to the Hellenistic age, from Homer to Aristotle, from Marathon to Alexandria. The story of ancient Greece remains one of humanity's greatest adventures, an eternal source of inspiration, wisdom, and wonder.